Hey guys, welcome to our daily encounter. We've talked about in previous devotions how the book of Revelation really brings out the fact that the Lord is really in control when it comes to the things going on in this world, when it comes to human affairs and things like that in this world. And we've considered that this ought to lead us to trust in the Lord and to remember that He is the one ultimately in control. And in our reading today in Revelation chapter 20, we get the same idea, but not so much in connection to the world directly, but in connection to Satan. Satan is definitely seen as one who is controlled by God and by those who are sent by God. It starts off with Satan being bound with a chain and thrown into the abyss. He's released, but then only to ultimately end up in the lake of burning sulfur. He is definitely not in control. God is the one that determines Satan's destiny and is in control of whether Satan is released or whether Satan is bound. And that should help us in our day-to-day walk, because what it shows us is that God can control the influence that Satan has in our lives. We know from Ephesians chapter 6 that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but we really fight against those forces of darkness in the heavenly places. We are constantly being attacked by the prince of the power of the air, talked about in Ephesians chapter 2. The God of this world, as mentioned by the Apostle Paul to the church at Corinth. He's described in a lot of different ways, but he's the one who is our adversary. He's the one who tries to bring accusation against us. He's the one that tries to tempt us. But we got to remember that God is ultimately in control of him. And as we engage in our day-to-day battles, we can go to the Lord in prayer and ask that God would help us in our struggle against those dark forces that really are operable behind what is going on before us. And to realize that God can control Satan. And we should pray what the Lord told us to pray, that God would deliver us from the evil one, as some translations say it, or deliver us from evil. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And God is definitely able to do that. And we see that in Revelation chapter 20. So let's lean on the Lord and trust in the Lord in this respect, that God would keep Satan bound in connection to our own lives, that we would not become susceptible to his attacks or susceptible to his temptations or his deceit, and that we would be able to be protected from being overtaken by him. We know from what Peter tells us that he's like a roaring lion seeking someone to devour, and we need the Lord's protection to keep that from happening. And we can trust in the Lord that he can help us in those times when Satan would try to overwhelm us or try to overtake us, and God can ultimately give us the victory. So let's today get on our knees and pray to the Lord to help us in our struggle against Satan. And we pray that the Lord would keep him bound, that God would put restraints on Satan, so that we can walk a life of holiness and righteousness and truth before the Lord always. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.